Hey YouTube, what up? We are back. We just had a surprise hotfix, but they didn't put this in the hotfix notes, but we got new ship modules, finally. Super awesome to be able to use some of those new samples you've been banking up for so long. Unfortunately, no vehicle module here yet. Still hoping for that in the future to upgrade our mechs, but let's just jump into what we have here. We have the reduced reload time for support weapons. Just a solid upgrade. Probably the number one pick for many going into this. It affects all the support weapons minus Quasar and EAT. Those two weapons don't have reloads necessarily. Obviously, the Quasar sort of has a reload, but it's a cooldown period between shots. That's why it doesn't affect it. Next, going into orbitals, you have a larger damage radius. So the previous one was reducing the overall bloom of the shots to make them more accurate in a tighter grouping. This one is going for a raising of the damage cone. So it's going from 12 meters to about 13.2 meters on a 380 shell, which doesn't sound like a lot until you look at the actual overall radius of the splash damage is going up by around 20%, which is really cool when you think about it. So for all you orbital users out there, those are some solid upgrades for 380, 120 precision and walking. Next, going into the hangar, we have an interesting one. For people that like to bring more than one Eagle, you have the Eagle rearm cooldown further reduced by 10% if called in while an Eagle is still uses are still remaining, which is quite interesting. What that means is that if you have like an extra use of, let's say, cluster bomb or Eagle airstrike, and you actually do the manual input for the Eagle rearm, you will get a 10% reduction, about 12 seconds off of that reuse time, which is not bad, which is pretty damn good. So for the people that use more than one Eagle at a time, pretty damn useful. You don't feel as punished for calling in that reuse early. It's kind of nice. So when you're running from objective to objective and you kind of need a rearm, doing it early, quite nice. Quite nice. Next, going into an overall good one, a 5% reduction on all stratagems. Very nice. You're not going to use this or notice this as much on your maybe orbital gas or Gatling barrage, stratagems that have a very low cooldown already. But for your orbital barrage, you're losing 12 seconds off the cooldown, which is quite nice. For your mech, you're losing 30 seconds off the cooldown if you do the math, which is really cool. So if you're someone who tends to bring longer cooldown stratagems, this one is very useful. Also, just getting your support weapons back in case you need them. Kind of nice. The first of the ones that I have bought already and tried, you have all support weapon stratagems launch immediately once called in, reducing overall deployment times. Now, that reads as, oh my god, are they coming down immediately every single time? Not exactly. 50% call-in speed is still affecting the call-in of your stratagem. So instead of it taking like 9, 10, 11 seconds to get your support weapon in, you're only sitting there for, I think my EATs were taking 7 seconds, 6 to 7 seconds, and that's with the 50% cool call-in. If you don't have that happening, it's like 3 seconds, which is blisteringly fast. It's to the point where you can like throw an EAT below a Bile Titan and just get him to do like one animation, and that EAT is going through him, which is really cool. Also, killing chargers a lot faster, especially if you can get it to stick to them. Really nice quality of life and a cool buff for the EAT overall. The cross-platform compatibility is the mortar sentries prioritize fire on marked targets. Really, really interesting. This was actually the first one I bought and tested. I did pretty extensive testing on it. Some of the things I tested was, first, is it working? Yes, it's absolutely working. Second, how does it work? How it works is when the mortar is deployed and firing, if you ping something, the next shot it tries to do, it will reorientate itself and try and shoot that target. And I was able to do this several times versus a fabricator, right? So the mortar wanted to shoot it at a scav or at like a tier 1 bot, but then I told it to shoot at the fabricator, it would start shooting at the fabricator. As long as it can normally fire at an object or a thing, you can make it fire at that thing. Now, for those who know this, a mortar ignores bug holes, and it still ignores bug holes even after this upgrade, which is kind of disappointing. And yes, a mortar will target a fabricator, and you can make it target a fabricator, but it will not blow up a fabricator. A fabricator has too much armor for a mortar to actually do anything to it. So unfortunately, doesn't work. Other things that we tested was, can your teammates affect your mortars? No. I both had a teammate without the upgrade and with the upgrade. I never saw a situation where their ping was affecting the targeting of my mortar. And we tested this pretty extensively over like a course of like multiple cooldowns of mortar. It didn't seem like it was working. So it seems like it's only your ping affecting your mortars, which is probably for the best, right? Because some people are just using pings as communication, so they shouldn't affect your mortars, which is totally fine. Other than that, I do like it. It's cool for like bug missions. It will reduce as many team killing potential moments. And I am really liking it for those moments. And also just, you know, priority targeting. Like, I'm sure you've all seen a situation where your EMS mortar is attacking some random one-off scavenger in the middle of nowhere. It's really nice to be able to get them back on the bug breach that's happening, you know, 100 meters away from you. It's really nice for that. Going through which ones I recommend first, for most people, as I said earlier in the video, I would say the reduced reload speed of support weapons is probably just overall like a must pick for most people, unless there's like certain situations where, you know, maybe you're using weapons that don't really have a reload speed, but like it's just useful. It's super useful, and it will work on the bug front and the bot front. Highly recommend this one. The orbital, as long as you're using these stratagems, I think it's a very strong upgrade. Obviously, I haven't tested it, but from what people are telling me, it is noticeable. You are noticing your 380 rounds, you know, landing next to enemies and actually killing them instead of it just kind of hurting them, which is nice. Hangar upgrade, more for the people that bring more than one eagle. So if you fall into that camp, you know, I think fairly early in the upgrade cycle, you know, maybe like the third or fourth you pick up, but fairly useful. For me personally, I probably won't be taking this very early just because I'm typically one that only brings one eagle, and I don't use the eagle rearm very often unless it's a very situational of like I'm running super far to the next objective and it's like, I might as well call it in now. Engineering bay is a solid one for any EAT users out there, but other than that, if you don't find yourself using the EAT very often, it's kind of just a nice to have, maybe the last upgrade that you'll do. And if you are a mortar enjoyer and you want to bring mortars more often on bug missions, this is nice. Just make sure that you're pinging targets that are away from your teammates, so you're actually utilizing it, and you're picking priority targets such as like bile spewers, and, you know, or something that I was trying to do is always try to make sure that I'm pinging the actual bug breach itself, so the aggressive mortar and the support mortar, the EMS mortar, are constantly just raining shells down on the enemies spawning on the bug breach. Very useful if you can get it to work. The pinging can be kind of finicky in this game. Bug bodies and so on and so forth can get in the way, but, you know, give it a try. A lot of fun. That'll be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the little insight that I did have on it. As far as I can see that everything is working, do let me know down in the comments if you've tested something and you've noticed it not working, just to kind of inform people. But as far as my stream, a lot of people went in different directions. Everything seems to be working here, which is really positive for Arrowhead actually introducing some new upgrades that don't have problems with them. But, you know, keep me informed and I will keep you guys informed. This is just, you know, 5-6 hours after it's come out. A bunch of people only have 1 to 2 of these upgrades. Maybe we'll discover that something isn't working or something that is way better than we initially have seen. But yeah, really exciting little update here. Go grind those samples, and I'll see you guys next time. Do consider dropping a like, subscribe, and dropping a comment down below. Let me know which ones you're going to be picking first. I went for some really meme picks just so we can test them, but let me know. What are you guys picking first? Peace out. Bye, YouTube.